but it's all fraudulent.
Mario Cristobal is a fraud.
But it would have been a lot better if we had some real teams playing in the playoffs as opposed to a couple of frauds.
Fraud. I hate this word, but the talking heads of college football media and college football fans alike love this word. But this is a very important word because it has implications on the narratives. And narratives are very important to college football. You see, unlike the NFL or other pro sports, where the playoff system is decided purely by your record, in college football, the playoff system is decided by narratives by the playoff committee. And I think some fans have this very high and mighty image of the committee where they assemble like a British parliament and very respectfully delegate over these teams, but I don't think it's as fancy as that. I think it's more of a glorified version of when you, yes, I mean you, sit down and chop it up with your boys about the teams this year. And the word fraud carries a lot of weight in these discussions because it's used as a pejorative term to put down certain teams while other teams get the benefit of the doubt. So today, we're going to even the scales. And because every top 25 team at this point in the season still technically has a chance to make the playoffs, we are going to go through all of them and explain why each team is a fraud. So without further ado, let's begin. Number 25, Memphis. Now, unlike last year with Boise State, the group of five doesn't have a very interesting representative this year, but I guess Memphis is what we're working with. And already this season, they lost to a UAB team that had already fired their head coach, Trent Dilfer. And while Memphis, they're a pretty good team, they really stand no chance against any other team that's going to make the playoffs. But they did beat Arkansas. And remember Arkansas. They'll be important later. Number 24, Utah has already been blown out by Texas Tech and lost a close game to BYU, and they would have to run the table in the Big 12 to even have a chance of making the postseason. USC has already lost to Notre Dame, and they also lost to Illinois, and in general, this team really struggles on defense. And speaking of that Illinois team, unranked Washington had already beaten Illinois, but this past week, USC jumped over Washington after not playing last week and having a bye, which makes no sense to me.
Whoa, number 34, right here.
He was in line, man. He just went out to go get gas in his car.
Oh, so I could go out, fuck your sister, come back Saturday, I go to the front of the line?
I said he could.
Number 22, Houston, has been blown out by the best team they played so far. Number 21, Michigan, has 2 double-digit losses on their resume. Number 20, Texas, has looked so bad this year. All right, they do not deserve to be ranked. They've lost to Ohio State, which is fine, but also had a bad loss against Florida, and they've looked really ugly in all their wins. And to be honest, they will be lucky to finish 7-5. Watch out for that Arkansas game. Missouri has no good wins and is just a team that is propped up by having 2 quality losses. Oklahoma lost to Texas, which we've already established is a very bad football team. Cincinnati has played a relatively weak schedule and lost to a very mediocre Nebraska team. In Louisville, they had that nice one against Miami, but they did lose to Virginia. Speaking of Virginia, they come in at number 15. And did you see them this past weekend against North Carolina? It took them an overtime to take them down, and they got to be one of the worst Power 4 teams this year. Number 14 is Tennessee, and they are the definition of a team hiding behind quality losses. Who are their best wins? I mean, really. It took them overtime to beat Mississippi State, and I guess their best win is beating Arkansas by 3. I don't know, man. They're just not that good to me. Now, as we move into the top 13, an important distinction needs to be made. I think the teams that I'm about to talk about all have a valid case for the college football playoff, and there is a clear separation between them and the teams we've already talked about. However, we still need to do our job here, and we still need to talk about why all these teams are frauds too. While number 13, Texas Tech, has taken care of most teams on their schedule, they did lose to 5-3 Arizona State. Notre Dame did beat the crap out of Arkansas, something these SEC teams don't seem to know how to do. They did lose to the best 2 teams on their schedule. BYU is undefeated, but they've yet to face Texas Tech, which is the real litmus test of the Big 12. Miami and Carson Beck crumbled under the pressure against Louisville at home, and they've been known chokers for a long time since they ever got Cristobal. Vanderbilt's best win just came recently against a hamstrung Missouri team who lost their starting quarterback Bo Perbula during the game. And oh man, Georgia Tech, my favorite team. Do I really have to do this one? All right, fine. They've played a relatively weak schedule and haven't had the best margins of victory. There, I said it. Moving on. Ole Miss's defense absolutely crumbled against Georgia, and they also barely survived a very tough game against Arkansas. Oregon's best win was in overtime against a very bad Penn State team, and they also just recently struggled to beat a very bad Wisconsin team. Georgia's defense has been suspect all year. They had a very tough game against FCS Austin Peay and were a missed field goal away from losing to Tennessee. And Alabama lost by 2 touchdowns to Florida State, who has not won an ACC game in over a calendar year. Texas A&M struggled in their first 2 games against much weaker competition and barely survived a close game against Arkansas. Indiana needed the entire game to beat Iowa, who doesn't know how to play on the offensive side of the ball. And finally, Ohio State was at one point tied 13-9 against Ohio and College Game Day legend Parker Navarro.
Teams are 2-2 in the last 4 matchups. The Redhawks defense looks good, but I'm looking at 4th-year Bobcats quarterback Parker Navarro. Yeah, 65% completion rate.
So when it's all said and done, and now that we've gone through every ranked team, which team actually deserves to be at the top of the rankings? And which team combines the best combination of a hard schedule and quality losses that would justify them being number 1? It's Arkansas, baby. Put them at the top.